Hello, I'm Allison Ladon Daroui. Welcome to the Ladon method. We're gonna get right into it. Let's come into a tabletop. Now I want you to move through at your own pace throughout your entire practice today. We're gonna start with just checking in, moving through cat and cow dropping the belly low, and cat hollowing out, chin towards chest, pelvis towards navel. In cow, you drop the belly low, bringing the chin and hips high as you inhale, hollowing out in your cat pose as you exhale. And making sure your shoulders are stacked above wrists, your hips are above knees. Then you could take some other organic movement here. Maybe you're taking C curves of the spine, allowing your hips to move from right to left. Bring your gaze towards the hip that's sticking out. If you're taking those C curves of the spine, you might take some nice big circles of the hips as another alternative. Just take this time to check in. You can reverse the direction of those circles. Just noticing what feels good, what areas might need a little bit more of your attention today. Then once you're ready, we'll find stillness. Let's zip up the core. So get your spine nice and neutral and long. Feel your belly button move towards the spine. So you shouldn't be sticking your butt out. You want to feel that rotation of pelvis towards the navel. From here, let's extend the right leg back. Reach your left fingertips forward. Holding it here. Try not to allow the belly to drop. Keep your core engaged. Take a nice big inhale. As you exhale, bring elbow to knee. Inhale, let's reach, and you can either point or flex the foot. Just make sure your leg is engaged. Take another inhale. As you exhale, hug it in, elbow towards knee. Moving at your own pace here. Make sure you're breathing. Let's move through for another 3, 2, 1. We're going to extend long. We're staying on the same side. From here, invite your left elbow out in line with your left shoulder, at least working in that direction. You're trying to create a 90-degree bend at your elbow. Then bring your right knee in line with your right hip or working in that direction. It might be nowhere near there. Just try to keep your hips squared off to the mat. Inhale, extend long. Fingertips reach forward, foot reaches towards the back. Exhale, bring the elbow and knee out to the side. Moving at your own pace, making sure you're breathing here. Moving through for another 3, 2, 1. Good. From here, extend long, lowering the hand and the knee down. And you can take some nice big circles with the hips, taking some organic movement. Maybe you're moving through cat and cow or C curves of the spine. See what your body needs. And now we're going to come on to the other side. So take your time to get there. Let's stack those shoulders above wrists, hips above knees. Extend your left leg back. Reach your right fingertips forward. Pause for a moment. You want to square off your hips and chest to the mat. You want to zip up your core. From here, you'll inhale as you extend long. Exhale as you bring your elbow towards the knee, hugging it in. Inhale, reach. Exhale, hug it in, moving at your own pace. Not feeling rushed to get anywhere, but if you want to challenge yourself more, you can move a little faster. Let's move through for another 3, 2, 1. Good. Let's extend long. From here, we're going to bring the right elbow in line with the shoulder, working in that direction. So we're trying to create 90-degree angles at the elbow and at the knee as you hug the knee in, trying to bring it in line with the hip. But again, it's okay if your knee is lower, you're just working in that direction. Inhale, reach long, fingertips forward, foot towards the back. Exhale, hug it out, elbow and knee out to the side. Moving through at your own pace. And now as you continue to move through this sequence, try to check in, trying to get your shoulder above the wrist on that grounded hand. Now let's move through for another 3, 2, 1. Extend long. Let's lower the hand and the knee down. Great job. From here, let's just take a moment to curl the toes under, lifting the hips up and back, coming into our down dog. Hello, Henry. This is Henry, my trusty assistant here. Hi. And then from here, we're gonna take it back onto our mat into a tabletop. And begin to walk your hands further forward, coming in to a supported plank here. Pause for a moment. Feel that rotation of your pelvis towards the navel. Lead with your chest, and you're going to lower it halfway down, then straighten those arms. So pause for a moment here. You want to make sure you're leading with the chest, not with the hips, and try not to allow your head to come forward. Slide your head back into an imaginary headrest. And you can just take little bends at the elbows. You don't have to come all the way down. You're working towards coming to that 90-degree angle at your elbows, and you're working towards keeping your core engaged, not allowing the hips to drop. Lead with your chest, not with your face. And your elbows should be grazing your side body as the elbows reach towards the back of the room rather than out to the sides. Let's take a few more rounds. Exhaling as you lower halfway down. Inhaling as you straighten those arms. Moving through for another 2 and 1. Good. From here, let's sit back into a child's pose. You'll bring your big toes together to touch. Allow your hips to sink back towards your heels as you reach your fingertips towards the top of the mat. Taking a moment to just breathe here, relaxing the arms for a moment. And once you're ready, let's take it back into a tabletop. From here, we'll curl the toes under, lifting the hips up and back, coming into our down dog. Get your feet hip distance and parallel. Feel your sit bones reach up and back towards the back wall and where it meets the ceiling. Try to extend your spine long. Take another couple rounds of breath here. Spread your fingers out wide. Good. On your own time, you can begin to walk your feet behind your hands. Let's sit the hips down low, reaching the fingertips high. So you're coming into a chair pose. In your chair pose, bring one hand to your low belly, one hand to your low back. Instead of sticking the butt out here, I want you to feel that rotation of your pelvis towards your navel so you have a nice neutral spine. Then reach your fingertips high. Trust yourself to maybe sit back further into your imaginary chair, bringing more weight into your heels. Try to stack your knees right above the ankles. Your feet are parallel and hip distance, holding it here. Take a nice big inhale. On an exhale, open your chest towards the right while sitting nice and low. Try to keep your hips squared off towards the mat. Try to keep your arms in line with your shoulders. Inhale, let's take it to center. Exhale, take it to the other side. Moving through at your own pace. As you twist, you might sit down a little bit lower, coming a little bit higher once you're at center, then sitting down lower. Just make sure the knees are never going past the toes. And make sure you're breathing. Let's move through for another 3, 2, 1. Good, let's take it to center. From here, find airplane arms. So you want to feel the fingertips reach towards the back of the room. Feel your shoulder blades move towards one another. Your palms are face down. On an inhale, we'll rise it all the way up to standing. You'll find cactus arms, about 90-degree bends in the elbows. Feel your chest reach up towards the ceiling, taking a slight back bend, but at the same time, feeling that rotation of pelvis towards navel, so you're supporting the low back. On an inhale, let's take it to an upright, reaching those fingertips high. On an exhale, the nice long spine, let's fold it forward, hinging at the hips, then let everything go. Let your head and neck hang heavy. On an inhale, let's lift it up halfway with a nice flat back. You can bring your fingertips to your shins right beneath the knees. Puff out your chest slightly between the shoulders. Let's plant the palms, stepping it back to our high plank, top of a push-up. Holding it here. Getting your shoulders right above the wrists, then lower onto the knees once again. We're in a modification here in our plank. So you want to, again, make sure that your hips aren't dropping. Feel that rotation of pelvis towards the navel. Slide your head back into your imaginary headrest, then lower halfway down, bending at the elbows, leading with the chest. Straighten those arms. Moving through at your own pace, exhaling as you lower it down, inhaling as you straighten those arms. So I don't want to see the hips dropping before the chest. Keep that rotation of pelvis towards navel. Try not to allow the head to jet forward. Moving through for another 3, 2, and 1. Good. From here, bring your big toes together. Sit your hips back, knees out wide, coming in to your child's pose once again. Taking just a couple rounds of breath. And then from here, let's take it in to our tabletop, back into a down dog. From your down dog, you can either step or jump to the top of your mat. This time you can bring your big toes together to touch, sitting your hips back and down, or you can bring your feet hip distance, just see where you want to take it. Just trust yourself to sit back further into that imaginary chair. You might lift your toes off the mat, trusting yourself to sit back further. Take a nice big inhale at center. On an exhale, let's open up the chest to the right. Inhale at center. Exhale, let's open it up to the left. Moving through at your own pace. Remember to keep your hips squared off to the front of the mat. You're just allowing the torso to move, and try to keep the arms in line with the shoulders so your arm isn't going way past alignment with your shoulder. Moving through for another 3, 2, 1. Take it to center. Sit down even lower, finding your airplane arms, palms face down. Your chest is open. Create space between the collarbones, holding it. Take another round of breath. On your next inhale, let's rise it up to standing. Find those cactus arms, shine the heart high. Protect your low back, rotation of pelvis towards navel. Belly button moves towards spine. On your own time, let's reach those fingertips high, get nice and tall. On an exhale, let's fold it forward. On an inhale, lift it up halfway with a nice flat back. On an exhale, plant your palms, step it back to your high plank, top of a push-up. Lowering onto the knees, taking your modified plank here, and let's lower it halfway down. Straighten those arms. Lowering it halfway down, straighten those arms. Moving through at your own pace. Make sure you're breathing. Try not to compromise your alignment. You might not come down as low if it's really challenging for you to keep your core engaged and not drop the hips. Let's move through for another 3, 2, 1. Coming back into your child's pose this time. Bring your palms together to touch and bring your thumbs towards the back of your neck. You can walk your elbows a little bit further forward, breathing into it. And once you're ready, let's take it back into our tabletop. This time, we're gonna stack the shoulders above wrists, hips above knees, and we're going to extend the right foot back, left fingertips forward. Take a nice big inhale. On an exhale, we're going to do that move where we invite the left elbow in line with the shoulder, the knee out in line with the hip. Inhale, reach. Exhale, invite it out. Moving through at your own pace. Moving through for another 3, 2, 1. This time, extend long. Zip up your core, belly button towards spine. Bend at your right knee. You might reach around with your left hand, grabbing for your ankle. You can just pause here, or might begin to press your ankle into your hand, opening your chest towards the left, but don't force it. You wanna make sure your low back is supported. Breathing into it, and once you're ready, release, extend long. Let's lower the palm and the knee down. And then from here, we're gonna come right onto the other side. Let's extend that left leg long. Let's reach the right fingertips forward. Make sure your shoulders stacked right above the wrist so you feel nice and stable here. Make sure your core is nice and engaged so it further stabilizes you. Inhale, reach. Exhale, invite. Knee in line with the hip, elbow in line with the shoulder. Inhale, reach. Exhale, invite it out. Moving through at your own pace. Make sure you're feeling that rotation of pelvis towards navel so you're not sticking the butt out. Moving through for another 3, 2, 1. Extend long, square off the hips to the mat. Bend in your left leg. Reach around with your right hand for your left ankle. And you can begin to press your ankle into your hand. Maybe your chest begins to open up towards the right. Once you're ready, let's release, extending long, lowering the palm and the knee down. From here, we'll curl the toes under, lifting the hips up and back, coming back into our down dog. Taking a couple rounds of breath here, So allow your spine to lengthen even more, feeling the crown of the head and your sit bones reach in opposite directions. Good. Once you're ready, you can step or jump to the top of the mat. We'll sit the hips down low, reaching the fingertips high. Taking another round of breath here, maybe trusting yourself to sit back further into your chair. And once you're ready, let's find those airplane arms. Palms face down, roll the shoulders back. We're going to rise it up, balancing on our left leg. Let's reach the right knee high. From here, we're going to work towards coming into a warrior three with our arms in line with our ears. You might stay more lifted here, but where you're working is extending that right heel towards the back of the room. Your toes are facing down. You're working to try to keep your arms in line with the ears. Eventually, you might create a T-like shape with your body. Good, and from here, let's just parallel the feet to one another, bringing the hands to heart center. Sit your hips down low. Let's hook that left elbow to the outside of the right thigh. Breathing into it. So you want to keep your hips nice and squared off to the top of the mat. Try to keep your knees right above the ankles. As you firmly press your palms into one another, you might lengthen the spine more as you inhale. You might twist a little bit more as you exhale. Good, on your own time, let's fold it forward, letting it all go. Relax your head and neck. On an inhale, let's lift it up halfway with your nice flat back. On an exhale, plant your palms, step it back to your high plank, top of a push-up. Keep your shoulders right above the wrist, holding it here. We're going to step the left foot to the outside of the mat. Your leg is straight, you're just stepping to the outside of the mat, then step your foot in. Keep your body in a nice straight line. Step the right foot to the outside of the mat, then step it in. We're alternating sides, moving from one side to the next. Try not to allow the hips to droop down or to pop up. Get your body flat as a board. Moving through for another 3, 2, 1. Good, lower onto your knees. Sit your hips back, coming into your child's pose for a little rest. You might inhale through the nose, exhaling through the mouth, releasing a little bit of heat from the body. Good. On your own time, let's take it back to a tabletop and into our down dog. At the bottom of an exhale, let's step to the top of the mat. We'll sit the hips down low, reaching the fingertips high. Pausing for a moment, then we'll find our airplane arms. Remember to broaden across the chest here. Your palms are facing down, reaching towards the back of the room. And on your own time, we'll balance on our right leg on this side, reaching the left knee high. Try to keep the arms in line with the ears, and we'll just extend that left heel towards the back of the room. Try to keep your hips squared off, so you want to get your left toes to face the mat. And see if you can keep the arms in line with the ears. Seeing where you want to take this. It's okay if you're staying pretty lifted, that's completely fine. Just see where you are today. Good, and once you're ready, you can slowly rise it up to standing, paralleling your feet to one another. We'll sit the hips back and down, bring your hands to heart center. Make sure your spine is nice and neutral. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, let's hook that right elbow to the outside of your left thigh. As you inhale, you might lengthen the spine a little bit more. As you exhale, you might twist a little bit more. You want to try to keep your hips squared off. You might notice that your right knee starts to come in front of the left. If that's the case, invite your right hip back. That can be an indicator that your hips aren't squared off. Then maybe trust yourself to sit back further into your imaginary chair. And on your own time, on an exhale, we'll fold it forward, letting it all go, relaxing your head and neck. On an inhale, let's lift it up halfway with that nice flat back. Plant your palms, step it back to your high plank, top of a push-up. Holding it here. Get your body in that nice straight line, flat as a board. Slide your head back into your imaginary headrest. Let's step the left foot out to the side, step it in. Right foot out to the side, step it in. Alternating sides, moving through at your own pace. Moving through for another 3, 2, 1. This time through, lower onto your knees and slowly lower all the way down onto your chest. From here, let's bring tented fingertips to frame the sides of the mat. You're going to press down the tops of the feet, the nail side of the feet. Engage your legs, engage your quads, those muscles above the knees. And on an inhale, we'll reach the chest forward. Feel your belly button move towards the spine. On an exhale, dip one shoulder towards the center of the mat. Inhale, take it to center. Exhale, take it to the other side. Moving through at your own pace, getting at that area between the shoulder blades. On your own time, we'll slowly lower it all the way down. We'll take it into a tabletop and then into a comfortable seated position. You can either roll over onto one hip or you can roll over onto your shins, coming into your comfortable seat. Well, we just hit the 21-minute mark. Great job. Thank you for joining me and thank you for holding me accountable to you.